Director IIM Ahmedabad, Honorable Director of IIPM Bengaluru, Professor Dr. Rakesh Mohan Joshi, beloved teachers, staff, and my dear friends. A very good afternoon to one and all. I, Vaishnavi Verma, student of AVM, feel privileged to stand before you to welcome all of you to today's leadership talk on emerging digital economy. Before going further, let us begin the program by invoking Almighty. I invite our choir team for a song. Gajeshanaaya Balasandraya Srinadishaya Dhimani. Kaya Chaturaya Ganapranaaya Rasmani Kanotsukaya Sagraya Gita Tatvaya Gita Gotraya Dhimani Guragulpaya Gantya Bhattaya Gojaya Pradaya Dhimani Gunadi Nivajantaya Bhaktagundaya Gauri Tanayaya Dhimani Gajeshwaraya Bhalachandraya Srinadishaya Dhimani Vikadantaya Bhaktagundaya Gauri Tanayaya Dhimani Gajeshwaraya Bhalachandraya Srinadishaya Dhimani. Thank you, team. Now I invite our chief guest, Dr. Professor Bharat Bhaskar, Director, and Dr. John Manorat sir, Dr. K. Venkateshwaran sir, and student representative Abhishek Gusalkar for lighting the lamp. Please come forward. Thank you all. Now, I would like to request our Honorable Director, Professor Dr. Rakesh Mohan Joshi, sir, to present the bouquet to the Chief Guest of the Day, Professor Bharat Bhaskar. I now request Govinda Rajula Sharwani, AVPM second year, to present the bouquet to our Director, sir. Thank you. Now, I invite our esteemed Director of IIPM, Professor Dr. Rakesh Mohan Joshi, sir, to address the gathering.
Distinguished guest of the day, Professor Bharat Bhaskar Saab. ನಿಮಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಸ್ವಾಗತ ಮತ್ತು ಅಭಿನಂದನೆಗಳು. I am extremely grateful to Professor Bharat Bhaskar for visiting our institute. And I think, let me tell you, so far among all the experts invited, he is brightest of the bright. He is a highly talented IT expert, mattu management expert, mattu academician, who is leading the topmost institute of the country. And I'm personally grateful to him for many things. If you see that, prior to this, he has been, director of one more IIM, IIM Raipur, and he has been chair of various committees, including one committee in ISI, wherein I think I was also part of some other committee. He has brought transformation to the Institute of Management, IIM Ahmedabad. He'll tell you more, but let me tell you 2-3 things. Number one, he was just telling me that, you need a lot of things to learn from him. It's easy to transform, the languages, the academic, things and writing papers, but most difficult thing to transform is the people of an institute. And he has carried out a cultural transformation in an institute. I don't want to say, but the brand is very big. But he will tell you what transformation he has done. IIM Ahmedabad, they have got 40 crore rupees of donation from alumni. And how we get it, Narendran, you need to learn the secret from him. And I think here he was in an event wherein I think 2-3 dozen of the IIM Ahmedabad alumni came together to give back to the institute. So either because the people say what is transpired is that because we are whatever we are for this institute, and therefore we want to contribute. And this, I think, he has spearheaded. Scholarship to the student is important. Infrastructure is another important. Establishing chair and research centers are another important. So I think, there are many firsts. And then integrating the institute, rather than, manufacturing MBA student that you come get placement and go, which most IIMs is doing, his contribution to the nation building, his contribution to the cause of the mismanagement, which is widespread, is remarkable. That I think you need to learn. And most importantly, transforming the culture among the faculty and the student, which anyway he has given me the tips. You need not know that. But it's very important that, we work as an institute and take the institute forward. And, there are multiple things in education policy. Also, he was chair of multiple committees. And, I am very sure that, his remarkable work in the era of the, implementation of the digital technology and transformation of the institute. I'll give a single example, what I think he told me very recently. By offering one course in Coursera, the institute is getting 4 crore rupees, and the faculty is getting 1.6 crore rupees as a royalty for one program. And therefore, today to be market leader, you need to be innovative rather than beating around the bush what is going on. And then his program, especially not only Coursera, but even the Indian platform, is absolutely a hit. And that is how, with low infrastructure, how an institute can leapfrog the way India leapfrogged in digital technology, that we created the largest public digital infrastructure in the world like never before. And our public digital infrastructure is to be copied in more than 50 countries and more. And this is, I think, he'll tell you the innovative technologies, how you can become a leader. Followers can never be a leader. You cannot be leader if you follow the path which is being done by others. So you need to change the system. I don't want to take time, but again, expressing my highest gratitude to Professor Bharat Bhaskarji. Thank you so much and for coming. And nimge tumba swagta once again. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite our honorable chief guest of the day, Professor Bharat Bhaskar, Director, Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. He is an accomplished professional with a remarkable academic and industrial background. He holds a BTech degree in Electronics and Communication from IIT Roorkee and a PhD in Computer Science from the prestigious Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University. With a solid foundation, he embarked on a distinguished career spanning over 16 years, serving esteemed industries such as Tata Steel, Hughes Steel Corporation, Sybase, and many more. His extensive experience includes roles as a system analyst, group manager, principal scientist, and senior staff engineer, where he demonstrated expertise and leadership. In 1996, he joined IIM Lucknow as a professor, eventually taking up pivotal roles, including dean and director there. Having served as the director of IIM Raipur from 2017 to 2022, Professor Bharat Bhaskar's visionary leadership led to remarkable growth. In March 2023, he took the helm at IIM Ahmedabad as its director, a testament to his exceptional academic and administrative prowess. Notably, he authored 2 influential books, Electronic Commerce Framework, Technologies and Applications, and Recommender Systems in E-Commerce, Methodologies and Applications of Data Mining, both published by Tata McGraw-Hill in 2003 and 2010 respectively. During his tenure at Hughes, Professor Bhaskar's exceptional contributions were recognized with the Research Productivity Award from NASA, USA in February 1994. His journey reflects a seamless blend of academic excellence and industrious accomplishments, making him a truly distinguished guest today. Even though there is a lot more to say about you, sir, I highlighted some of the key aspects. And now, without any further delay, I would welcome our chief guest, Professor Bharat Bhaskar, to address the gathering. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Joshi, for inviting me on a short notice. And it's my pleasure to be here amongst the youth of this country. You all are going to be shaping the future in an environment where India is really poised for a change which no era has seen before in India. Or at least you can talk about past 300 to 500 years. We have never been at such an inflection point. We are sitting at a point where we are likely to become the center of the global economy. The world is going to revolve around us. Reason, as Dr. Joshi already talked about, we have done the infrastructure of that technology, which is actually is causing the inflection around the world, and being the largest population in the world, especially not the population, but the youth population, we hold key to leverage that technology to our advantage, to the world's advantage at the same time. as Dr. Joshi also talked about, the growth opportunities which this digital technology offers and the opportunities which exist in the digital economy environment. The one of the greatest example he talked about, people talked about MOOC, right? And I'll start talking from that example itself. And the idea of the MOOC was that this is an education for what? How much is the opportunity? The growth is tremendous, and people have to understand the effect of the exponential growth and aggregation of that exponential growth. The digital technology is a driver of digital economy, and it drives in an exponential manner. Today, in a kind of a population we talked about, when I went to Ahmedabad, and I told the two reasons we should get onto the digital technology and be in an online environment. I'd experimented with it because being from IT, it was my passion at IIM Raipur. IIM Raipur is located in central India, not a very high-tech business, not too many management professionals out there. There are lots of mining and core industry out there, but they're not ready for the MBA education. So growth is going to be limited when as far as the executive education is concerned. Looking at that growth, I've decided, why can't we leverage the digital technology? The growth can happen. Distance is no barrier. Ahmedabad being Ahmedabad, Bangalore being IIM Bangalore, sitting at the best place as far as the executive education is concerned, at the valley of where all the industrialization or a high-tech industrialization of India is happening. Calcutta, Lucknow, all in a much better environment. And here is a young institute. MBA program will run because CAT and nationwide competition, people will come from all parts of the world. But how we can do the executive education? So we are the very first one to move our executive education in only digital mode. And within a year, from zero, or what we call the 50-60 lakh rupees of the executive education in total we are doing, we scaled 20 crores. Because we offer it cheap, the resource requirement is much lesser. It doesn't matter whether you're sitting in Bombay or sitting in Calcutta, as long as you're digitally connected and the infrastructure provides that connectivity. And that's why we were the least hit during the COVID period. Our executive education did not suffer. I would say, I'll not give you the number, but you can see it from balance sheet anyway, it's a public information. IIM Ahmedabad executive education took a dive by 70%. Because they believed, or Ahmedabad believed, and executives also believe that we need to go to Ahmedabad to experience IIM Ahmedabad, be with the faculty in a same room. E-education is not a substitute. When the COVID arrived, automatically that all stopped. So the education or the executive education took a hit. Raipur, having done that experiment, when I tried with the idea at Ahmedabad, and they said, that's not the education. They're not going to be a taker. We are providing education those. But I said, the question posed to us is a different. People believe, or instead I should say, people accuse us of being elitist institute. We are only accessible to those who have money. And if you don't have money, Ahmedabad is not available to you, is the label which is being put on us. I know you are not doing that. I know our objective is not that. But our infrastructure cost, our faculty cost, our model on which we are built now, it can't be brought much cheaper. Maybe you can cut 10-15% cost from there. But if you want to maintain the same quality of education in a physical mode, it has to remain expensive. So I said, why don't we opt and democratize the education? Do you only want money, or you also want recognition that you are a professor whose knowledge is accessible and 100,000 people or students know you? that they learned from you. And many of the professors said, yes, we would like to do that, but how do we do that? I said, then get onto the e-education bandwagon. So we have launched our what we call our brand name Online at IIMA, whose first objective is Ahmedabad education is accessible to one and all. Like every online education, it's available free of cost. You register, you create your user ID, password, look at the list of courses which you want to attend, start attending it. We have 3 models in it. One, we support the Swayam, which most of you are familiar, the Government of India initiative. So we put courses there. We also put courses in our own platform and offer it to people. And we also offer through Coursera, because Coursera has a much bigger reach than our own social media marketing team. You will not be able to figure out that we are offering a course and it's available for free to people. So using that, when we launched our first course only in April this year, related to organization behavior, which you are citing as example, we have a 2 lakh people taking that course right now. Right? We don't charge anything for you to attend all the lectures. But you all know Coursera model. You want a certificate, there's 3,000 rupees charge. Right? Still, you can learn the course, get the certificate of IIM Ahmedabad for 3,000 rupees. So the cost of course to individual is only 3,000 rupees. We are going to register these courses in what we call Academic Bank of Credit. So all other management institutes which want to give credit for those courses can also register their students and pay 3,000 rupees out of their fee to us and take that course. The model is cited, or the money is cited. We have 10% conversion into certificates. So 20,000 certificates are coming. 3,000 times 20,000 is 6 crores. And that's what I call power of exponential growth and aggregation. Coursera takes 50%, we get 3 crores, and 60-40 we share with the faculty. So my faculty member will get 1.8 crore. Or whatever, 60% is 1.8 crore. Right. There's another course which you have offered on the Coursera model, is called Pre-MBA Statistics. Our same professors which offer to MBA student, if you get admission in IIM Ahmedabad, they have the same passion for the courses, teach you with the same passion, and have 70,000 registration. Again, roughly 1/3 of everything, so roughly rather than 6 crore, 2 crore will be the revenue generated out of that course. We also offered on Swayam, so everybody can take it to the Government of India platform. We have beaten all the records in the management courses. Our first course itself has 12,000 registrations. No management course. Engineering courses have more than that, because the engineering population is much bigger and IITP professors are offering for a long period of time. But no management course has that kind of a registration. We are offering now several courses in our online own platform, and we would like to reduce the price even from 3,000 and lower, because there we cannot reduce. Coursera has a standard model, so that our capability of our faculty members is available to youth of this country everywhere. So it's a financially win-win situation. Education is available for what you call the limited or a cheaper rates, and the best of the faculty is also accessible to you. We call, our tagline is democratization of the education. So we are trying to democratize the education. All this is happening because we believe in that digital technologies can provide you that platform or infrastructure. IIM Ahmedabad has spent lots of money on building our own digital platform, and that's why we'll replace you in Coursera soon. Initially, we thought, let's experiment with the Coursera, a proven platform, because if you launch your platform and if it crashes on the, right, if 2 lakh registration would have come to us directly, I don't know whether my platform was ready, but now we'll ensure when we launch course on our platform, we can expect even 2 lakh registrations simultaneously. or that many people taking. So we decided we'll go on a established platform. The idea is that if you have an established platform, then you will be able to, because goods, education, services, everything will move to the digital environment, right? The impact of that is, if you look at, today we are running an economy which is not centered around banks, not centered around petroleum, not centered around pharmaceutical industry, etc., and so on. You look at the top 10 companies in 1997 when the internet started. What was the scenario? These are the top 10 companies of the worldwide market capitalization. And out of that, only Microsoft, MTT, a telecom company, and rest all are traditional companies, right? Coca-Cola, General Electric, oil companies, one or two banks maybe there are, pharmaceutical companies. That's the world was dominated by. And they all thought they are the ones who are going to dominate the world forex stuff here. Move over to the next one. And move to the next one. Yeah. And today, what is happening? I purposely not updated you to 2023 because you all know right now, Facebook, Google all are facing a bit of a crunch. So their market capitalization has gone down. But that market always goes through ups and downs. They're grown too fast, so they have to stabilize for a while and then grow again. But that's why I took 2018, 19, 20 were the peak years. So in 2018 market capitalization, which are the companies now driving the world economy? Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Alphabet, which is Google, Facebook, Tencent, Alibaba. Out of that, 7 companies are what I call digital economy or digital technology companies. They're not IT companies. Amazon is not an IT company. Amazon is a regular business running out of a digital platform. So that's the scenario we are looking at. Only what, 15 or 20 years? 2012, scenario would be not 7, 5 or 6 will be there. Post-internet arrival, post-stabilization of the electronic commerce technology at these platforms, that's the market scenario. Why the market changed in 20 years? If you look at the past, what happened? These inflection technologies do come around once in a while. Electricity came and changed the whole industrial sector. Prior to that, we had a power driven by windmills, water mills, or internal combustion engine. When these technologies, electricity came in, it gave you almost 40 years of time. Motor replaced much of the other sectors, but it gave you 40, 50 years of time to adapt. If you didn't change your factory from internal combustion engine to an electrical motor-driven factory, yet you could survive in a business. But these technologies upstage the whole marketplace in less than 20 years, actually less than 10 or 12 years. You have seen the scenarios after scenarios. Uber was born in 2011 or 12, and by 2015, it was the world's largest taxi company. Right? Airbnb, again born around 2010-11. Marriott, which has been the largest hotel chain around, had only about 650,000 rooms today. Airbnb has several tens of millions of rooms in its inventory. Of all class and categories, you can access. Again, how they have? They don't build. They create a platform and we do the platform. On the platform, we do the business. So it has, this technology can transform your existing business model and disrupt any existing business. That's the big challenge we face. Next, please. Right? Next, you can see the growth. That's why Google, etc., is a nearly vertical, while traditional companies are IT, which was only passive technology. It only gave you efficiency. You deployed that I will automate my payroll, I will automate my inventory, I can get my inventory status, I can get my financial revenue status, monitor my project budgets, etc., and so on. It's no more that. It's central to your business. Earlier, IT used to be in the periphery of the business. Today, it's a core of your business. Whenever you're thinking of a new business, you think how IT will be the core, because it gives you that kind of a multiplier effect, right? Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, they're all critical to digital economy. And when you're talking about these technologies, they don't cause disruptions anymore. Because when I talked about the previous examples of Airbnb, Uber, they disrupted the existing industry despite being very small player and unknown players. Suddenly born in a room, loaded on some platform, and they begin to transform. What about these? They're not getting disrupted by anybody, because they have at the core or at the center of their business, IT itself. The reason they're not disrupted, because they are a different kind of animal which absorbs everybody. So now, if you're a traditional business and traditional economy, there's a double pressure on you. There's an unknown disruptor sitting out there, which may suddenly eat away your business model, make your business irrelevant, right? Like it happened in case of a Kodak, right? Those film rolls. Some of you are not even born and seen those, right? But Kodak till 2004 kept improving the technology of a film roll, high speed. How can I take the racing car picture and yet the picture will come not a hazy but a clear picture? Wonderful research they were doing. Little did they realize there's a digital technology and a digital camera will make their Kodak film roll irrelevant. Cost of development, immediate picture show. Reason and the interesting part is, who invented the digital camera? Kodak alone, right? So they invented the Kodak camera way back in late 70s and 80s. Looked at the picture and there are too many dots, because the screen technology was what, 400 by 600 pixels. If you put a picture in 400 by 600 pixel, what will happen? Only dotted picture. They said ours is a high quality, glossy print. Every dot, no dot is visible, continuous picture. How can these pictures replace us? What they didn't realize, that digital technologies grow at exponential pace. It will not take them more than 20 years, from 1980 to 2000, to become a reasonably acceptable level. By 2001, 2, 3, 4, 1 megapixel cameras were already in place. And their picture looked pretty good. Of course, it doesn't look good anymore, but it looked extremely good at that point of time. But then next year itself was a 2 megapixel, and you have to throw that and buy another one. And then 4 megapixel, 8 megapixel, I even forgot how many megapixel you have today in your pocket. Right? That's the level at which IT grows. And when it grows, your all standard economic model are thrown out of the window. Now, on the other hand, these companies which I talked about, Google, etc., they are also now incumbent companies. But what do? They have so much cash sitting with them. So much wealth they have, so much market capitalization they have available with them. So whenever the disruptor comes in, they absorb the disruptor and begin to disrupt other people. So for traditional business, you may be gobbled up by the Google, Amazon, etc. at the top, or you may be disrupted from the bottom. You need to be on your toes, watching from both sides. Imagine the food chain industry. Big basket right here. Right? Amazon.com bought a company called freshfoods.com, which is a grocery distributor equivalent to Big Basket here. Everybody said, what will Amazon do? Book shipping, etc. is good, but what will do with the food chain. They've disrupted the food chain. Amazon is America's one of the major, especially in the COVID time, the grocery deliverer. Right? Because they use the digital platform on which fresh food stores are gone, their warehouses from where only online delivery happens. So they change the model from a traditional model to a digital model using their capability and technology, and suddenly the business is in different domain altogether. Now, why it all happens and why, despite learning it again and again, talking about again and again, we end up making the same mistake. So I'll narrate to you a story of chess. Right? You all know the game of chess is our own, although Chinese sometimes make a claim to it as well. But it was invented by a gentleman named Sesa. You have Sesa Technologies here, named after him, a software company. Right? Sesa was, who was Sesa? The inventor. I won't name the details, I'll cut the story short. There was a wonderful kingdom in this part of the India. Very flourishing civilization it had created. Safety, security was paramount. Very up north, their borders were there. So the central part of the kingdom, the art, science, literature, everything flourished because the safety and security was guaranteed. And the kingdom was so powerful at the borders also nobody dared challenging the kingdom. But then there was a revolt at some border town. And the local chieftains, or local chief of the army, tried quelling the rebellion, but they failed. This time it was very strong. Maybe multiple kings, etc. at the border states have united and they were fighting. So he sent a SOS, please save me, the king sitting there. We are unable to quell and we are beginning to lose the war. King summoned the general that assemble your army and we need to put this down rebellion for good so the peace prevails again and our kingdom can continue to flourish. He had one son who was also at a right age. So you are going to be heir apparent. So he decided, since too many battles don't come on our way, so as a son of a king or a prince of this estate, he should also get a taste of the battle and should become battle hardy. So he told general, I also have a suggestion to you. Take the prince along. Let him see and show his valor, how the battles are fought. After all, he has to look after the kingdom after me. So general went there. All wonderful things happened. As usual, the army of the king was so powerful, rebellion was quelled, and the general returned after some time. And he came to the king's court and said, I'm here and I've gotten good news and a bad news. Sir, what would you like to know? He says, good news first. He said, we have quashed the rebellion for good. I don't think for years together they can even rear their head. He said, then what is the bad news? He says, bad news is we have lost your son in the battle. Now, being the only son of that king went in a deep depression or deep shock. And he said, okay, I retired to my palace. And he went back to the palace. All rituals, etc. were held and king remained aloof in the palace, wasn't coming out. And people believed that it's a mourning of a son. So it continued. But after all the rituals were gone, after all that, next 15 days, 20 days passed and king will still not come out. Now, once a month or so passes and king is not visible, people begin to worry. And so all the courtesans and his ministers begin to bother, what's wrong with the king? And if he doesn't come out, the kingdom may think otherwise. The rebels may again rear their head. So he decided it's time to go to king and persuade him. So they went there and they talked to king. They tried persuading and king didn't want to talk. Still in a grief. They said, give him more time. Nothing changed. So they asked the court singers, entertainers, all that to one by one try and bring the king out of this grief, get his mind diverted to something. So he again begins to think of the kingdom. Nothing worked. So finally, all the ministers got together and they said, what do I do? And they said, let's announce a reward. Anybody who can go to the palace and bring the king out of his grief, we will have a hefty reward for the person. So, okay. There are many people who took the challenge. Court jesters, theatre artists, all kind of people one by one made a beeline. They all tried and they all failed. Even councillors began to give up. What do we do now? And soon they stopped coming. Because there were no more new challenge acceptors left. That point of time, when they were really inside the state, the guard came, says, sir, there's a person with a very tattered clothes, having a bag hanging from his shoulder, has walked in and he says he wants to meet the king. They said, ask him why he wants to meet the king. So God went and asked. He said he can bring king out of his grief. Councillor discussed and they said, whatever, we don't have any choice. Give him also a chance. We have given so many good people a chance. He may not have any credibility, no references, but let him come. So they gave him a chance. He said, what will you do? He said, that I will tell king only. So they said, okay, we'll show him the palace. So he went to palace. 1 day passed, 2 days passed, 3 days passed. Normally, whoever went there after a few hours or 1 day or so came back. Neither king came out, nor he came out. And then the councillor got worried. What happened? So they went. The chief councillor summoned the courage and went to see. And he went and observed King and Sesa, this gentleman, are sitting and there's a board in front of them. Both looking at the board, and he was there for half an hour or so, and nothing happened. They were only observing the board. And then one of them moved something. He couldn't comprehend. He came back and reported, this is the state. Said, give him more time. I don't know. Maybe some kind of a therapy he's trying. Few days passed and nothing changed. So more of them went and said, ask the cooks, etc. and so on who are serving them and ask them what do they do. He says the whole day they sit there, somebody moves some piece, other one moves a piece once in a while and they keep facing each other or looking at the board only. End of the day, they decided let's all go together and disturb the king. Let's see whatever punishment he gives, we have to save the kingdom. We can take that punishment. So went to see the king. All of the council and council of ministers is watching. And there are only 2-3 pieces or few pieces left on the board. And suddenly king makes a move. And Sesa makes another move very quickly and takes that piece away out of the board. They said, this is very interesting. So they also got it. And king has a smile on his face and moved another piece. And he said something to equivalent, what is called checkmate. Sesa looked around, thought about it, and surrendered. And king smiled. The council of ministers was very happy that king has smiled finally. So they asked him, what happened, sir? He says, I won. After so many days, I won, but there are 2 lessons for me. First, it's a game of 2 armies battling in the field. It's very challenging for your mind. All my strategies I had to put together in order to win. But in order to win, I had to sacrifice my dearest piece. To lure Sesa, I moved my queen, which was taken away, but he didn't realize I'm going to give him checkmate. So my son's death is not in vain. My son's death is for the many more sons and daughters who have been saved who are also mine. So in order to win a war, you have to sacrifice your dearest things at times. So, next please. Next. So then they said, Sesa has to get a award. So Council of Ministers says, sir, we have promised he can ask anything. So I asked Sesa, what do you want? You can take anything today. That's what king said. Now ministers were worried, what if we ask the kingdom? What will happen to us? Sesa thinks and says, give me a few grains. He says, how many grains? He says, the same box, the same board, put 1 grain on the first box, 2 on the second, double them and double them and double them. All right. They said, sure, you want only grains? Ministers thought he's a poor man, all he can think is food. So he's only asking safety of food for his life. So I said, fine, give him. So he asked his treasurer, take him to the food grain store and give him those grains. All right. King began to come to the court. Things became normal. After 1 week, Sesa appeared again in the court. This time, God brought him with lots of respect. King and Council of Ministers thought, why is Sesa here? So before King could ask, Council of Ministers began to say, sir, he made a mistake in asking. Maybe he has come to ask more now. So King asked Sesa, what is that? What do you want? Is there something more you want? He said, no, I don't want anything more. Please give me what you promised to me. He said, why? What? Call that granary chief. Why has he not given? Granary chief came and he says, sir, the granaries are empty and boxes are not full yet. Why? How much grains did he ask for? More than a mass of earth. The last one will have 2 to the power 81. 2 to the power 64. 8 by 8 box. And even if the 1 grain is 10 milligram, multiplied by 10 milligram, right? It will be something like 10 to the power 16 kg. That's in the order of the mass of the earth. Reason I tell you this story, this is what digital technology does to you. This is the power of a tool. Next. They say IT grows, our digital technologies grow with the power of two. Processor doubles its power every 18 months. Butler's law says communication speed doubles itself every 9 months. And Ryder's law says storage doubles itself every 13 months. Roughly about 1.5 years, whatever computing box you have, you'll have double the power of that. And next 18 months, you'll have double the power and double the power. So if 15 or 20 periods have passed, or even 15 years have passed, that means 10 such periods have passed, you have doubled it 10 times. That's why you build a technology for tomorrow. It may be running slow. It may not be disrupting your business today, but it will disrupt tomorrow. When we say Chat GPT is a big threat to us, Chat GPT is not a threat today. It's the power of Chat GPT. Because the language model which is learned is as of today. But it will double its power tomorrow and then double day after tomorrow, meaning every 8 months or 9 months period, and see the amount of intelligence it will have. Our mind doesn't grow at that speed. Our mind has grown. We are only exploring within the growth, but we can't explore. We still explore linearly. Right? Our maximum growth happens from 4 to 8 years of age. And after that, we keep storing in the same and keep processing information in the same. But these technologies will continue to double at that speed. And that's what happened with Uber. That's what happened with Airbnb. Started with 20 room inventory. Next 2 months, it had 40. Next few months, it had 80. And by the time it raised million, you needed only these monthly cycles of maybe 50 cycles. So 4 years down the line, it's a millions of rooms of inventory. And from million to 2 million in another 2 months. Right? So we all talk about exponential growth, but we don't comprehend the exponential growth. And in order to comprehend, you have to look at how many grains are required by simple 8 by 8 box if you continue to double it. Right? Next, please. And that's why, despite knowing all this, traditional companies fail. How much time do I have? 10 minutes? Right? All right. Okay, so we can stop here. I'll tell you that's why a story of a disruption of a computing company itself. There was a major era, you may all have remember Sun Microsystem, Digital Equipment Corporation, VAX 11 computers, on and on. We were called workstations. And we were proliferated by workstations. The Ken Olson, the owner of Digital Equipment Corporation, was known as visionary, like we call Google founders, Amazon founders as visionaries who saw the future and created. Digital Equipment Corporation commanded the same height in 80. The growth was tremendous that IBM, which used to make the mainframe computers, nearly got disrupted. Because Digital and Sun Microsystem said, you don't need these large computers of so many crore rupees. Here is a 20 lakh rupee machine. And if you need IBM like work, put 2 of them. So 40 lakhs rather than 5 crore investment on IBM. And suddenly by late 80s, the company disappeared. What happened to them? What happened to them is exactly what happens with this exponential growth. The microprocessor has come in 1980, called Intel 80. Power was very minimal. 1980 onward, the people begin to build those little personal computer. Again, first personal computer built by whom? IBM. Which had a floppy drive. So only very limited storage capability in it. When these machines came in, Digital also got into that business. IBM created, Digital said, I will also create microcomputers. So they were not blind to the technology. They also created microcomputers. And after working at that for a little while, both IBM and Digital Equipment Corporation said, you can take this technology for free. I'm not interested, doesn't make a business. $2,000 machine, I sell by one machine for some $1 million or $500,000. How many such machines should I sell? We are not into retail business. We are into heavy computing business. They gave away that technology to others. Those others were Dell, Compaq, and many mom and pop stores. And Dell, etc., also started mom and pop stores, which became a large computing companies. Because they said this can do what? You can play a game, you can maybe type a document. It can't be a serious computing. They gave up that technology, and then power of 2 began to work. Power of 2 was working for them also. But what happens in the business marketplace? Digital Equipment Corporation could process all this size, whatever institute, all the data in one computer. And the cost was $500,000, $500,000. And if they double the technology speed, your work hasn't doubled. You'll do it faster, but how much faster? Earlier did it in 2 seconds, now you'll do it in 1 second. Cost will go up slightly, but even if you keep cost at the same level, you're only getting minor speed gains which are not observable or don't matter to you. Now, the same power of doubling is working for the PC. 1 Mbps machine you have, 2 Mbps, 4 Mbps, and Windows. That means they could process 75 million instructions per second. And today you are running on 3600 or 3.6 giga instructions per second. Right? So that's the power they grew. Once they reach 200, say 800 or 600 or 400 Mbps speed, they could process your payroll, your attendance record, your grades, your etc., whatever this institute needed. Compared to that digital machine for 500,000, this machine will do it. If that did it in 5 minutes, this will do it in 15 minutes. Which machine should I buy? Unless I'm an online transaction in stock market, I will say 2,000, maybe with all this software loaded $10,000 machine versus 500,000 machine. So the business grows at business requirement grow only at a linear pace. You using the power of doubling have reached here, but I don't need your power. Why are you charging me for that? PC, which couldn't be the business requirement earlier, has reached here. So I will need what? PC. I have disrupted the digital end, and that's exactly what happened. All these middle digital companies got disrupted by other digital companies because these people were not able to adapt to that. Did Ken Olsen not know about it? The problem with the people when you are in incumbent technology is that you do begin to recognize, but you can't change. Digital Equipment Corporation had best of the R&D engineers who are doubling the speed, working with those processors and improving them. And then their research was paid, or their salaries were paid from that level of research, where machine has to sell for $500,000. They said improve the PC, whose cost is only 2,000, who will pay their salary. Right? In order to meet that 500,000 revenue, you have to sell 250 of them. Your sales by engineer goes in market, he says, this month I sold 4 machines. I have made my quota of $2 million. Now you tell the same salesman, you have to sell 1,000 machines. He'll be running door to door in order to do that. So existing infrastructure registers that. Then you have assembly line, which has been optimized for efficiency. Now, as an owner or a decision maker to think, what do I do with this assembly line? Do I destroy it all and start afresh? Again, decision will force you, let me not destroy them. But that is why it's important in a disruptive world to sometimes destroy your factory and latch on to the new technology. Those who do that survive in the business. Those who are unable to disrupt themselves, so disrupt yourself, digital, if it was smart, would have disrupted, taken the immediate loss. There'll be a loss of business because you will not be able to make their $500 million of revenue which they have. How many machines they have to sell in PC? There they have to sell only 1,000 machines. So when you destroy, you will may take only half the revenue. But you'll be latching onto this new technology which would have taken you very long. Right? So last thing I'll tell you, the person who did it and was called crazy at his time is called Mr. Studebaker, and not a digital example. Studebaker car, I don't know, in some vintage rally you may see somewhere, was one of the earliest car made in the world. Studebaker is the company which makes the horse-drawn carriages. And they used to sell few million horse-drawn carriages every year. World's best horse-drawn carriage maker, having 80% of market share to them. That is 1900. Huge market, great place, great assembly line to create those high quality presidential horse-drawn carriages. The internal combustion engine has come in. Studebaker, Ford, all these people experimenting. Studebaker also experimented and created a vehicle where horse was replaced by this internal combustion engine and all these gears, etc. Their engineers conjured up a device, and device became a motor car. Then they commercialized it, made it a little more, built assembly line, invested more money. And in 1914, Studebaker sold 50,000 of these motor cars and 2 million horse-drawn carriages. In the annual general meeting, Studebaker made an announcement that next year on, we'll not be manufacturing horse-drawn carriages. Only motor cars will be manufactured. I think Wall Street Journal next day wrote, he is a lunatic killing his own company. 2 million horse-drawn carriages versus 50,000 cars. 50,000 at most will become 100,000. How will he substitute the revenue of 2 million horse-drawn carriages? But the story is that he disrupted himself, took the loss, but 5 years later, Studebaker was the world's #1 motor car maker, and horse-drawn carriages were a waning business. With the arrival of disruption by themselves, nobody wanted to buy horse-drawn carriages. So the smart businesses are. That's what Google, Amazon, Apple keep doing. They keep disrupting them. Economic world, you got to be not looking at that I've created a successful business, I'm going to be there for not 10 or 20 years. I need to disrupt before somebody else disrupts me. Right? So those are the lessons of digital economy. Always remember what we build today. I may have only 4 customers. If my technology is good, my platform is good, 5 years down the line, I may have 1 million customers. So if you are a future entrepreneur, invest with that mindset, not the today's technology mindset. Thank you very much.
Anyone is having any question, you can please ask.
If we talk about the challenges, can you अपना नाम बताओ? Class. Yes. So if we talk about the challenges in the emerging digital economy of the developing country, one of the major challenges is the siloed organizational structure. So how we can enhance our ability or incorporate a few of these steps in order to minimize the drawbacks to those things.
You're talking about organizational structures.
Siloed organizational structure.
See, digital technology itself disrupts. The siloed I did not share with you in other reasons. Since I'm talking to you, I'll give you how I have disrupted in IIM Ahmedabad the cycles. The executive education, as example again, because I already put an example with you, is a huge money making for IIM as well as for the faculty. If IIM Ahmedabad faculty or any IIM faculty makes beyond salary lots of money just because of the executive education. Typically, what happens? The siloed structure gets built around it. The senior people have all quadrant it out. Entry into that quadrant barrier is always difficult. How digital technology is broken. All the examples I'm giving you of these people because when I joined and I took over, typical complaint of young faculty was, sir, what about us? We can do it with the education, we can deliver, but this is a continuous because we can't disrupt because it's a huge efficient machine of ours. We will one by one incorporate to something. You are too young. But all these people are offering online courses are already. I said, digital will give you, I will give you a digital platform, come on the digital platform, let them keep the executive education, there will be bigger pie to share the digital environment. Right? So this is one example how you break. Same thing happens in the organization. You enable the digital team. The digital team itself will disrupt the business. And the CEO has to be cognizant, otherwise they break down and form their own company. I don't have time, but I will give you an example of local area network was born. Local area network was born exactly same way it was part of Xerox Corporation. And Xerox Corporation people, these people invented the local area network, went to Xerox management. And the typical Xerox management organizational structure, you got to be young engineers creating all this filtered through all of this product is ridiculous. Yes, no, this is a future opportunity, it's a great opportunity for us. We can do pioneer in local area networks, we do it for every organization, rather than selling Xerox machine to ourselves. Local area network. The top management of the silo management. So these 5 people go away, form a separate company called 3 companies. And that's why it was originally called 3 companies absorbed and bought by other people. So all these things were people. So disruptors typically are younger people. It's not that older people can't do that or not are capable, but they're the siloed structure they have put around themselves. Forces them not to do that. Right? So the same thing happens in organization. Every organization which forms a digital team, most of the time digital team takes over.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, I'm Vivarshan. I'm one from Agribusiness and Plantation Management Batch. Sir, whenever the topic of digital literacy or digital economy comes into the picture, one of the major challenges is digital literacy in rural India. As we know that around not more than 40% of the digital rural household is literate in India. So, because of that, many technologies are there which are penetrated in the agriculture sector, like precision agriculture, or we can talk about blockchain technology. But the ground level implementation of those technologies have not been proven in such a nice way like in other sectors. So, what insights can be taken from other sectors and what can be done to improve this in agriculture?
Right. Actually, that's one of the biggest challenges in our country is the digital divide. The problem is that on one end, I would say that digital technology has penetrated to rural areas because they have created networks there. Mobile as a device has penetrated, but its usefulness that we may call it digital literacy, but we define digital literacy to ability to use UPI, ability to do your banking, and that has penetrated. But beyond that, it has not penetrated, and that is still like there like a big challenge. And how do we bridge this digital divide? Although the first step is taken, at least the familiarity with devices. Right? It's a big challenge facing the country. I think we have to have some kind of a energization across the country process where one of the initial solutions created was but has worked only to a limited extent common service sectors which are created, but they are limited. They don't put the digital technology in the hand of the farmer or hand of the actual user. They still have a mediator. So I think we need to have better interfaces, better capability, local language capability, etc. and go on. You have seen another initiative of the government of India, which is called Anuwadini. The Anuwadini is a wonderful initiative, also done by education sector, but it can go in any other sector. Anuwadini is an AI-driven technology. Any language to any language, right translation with that. So maybe one of the barriers, not only users, but the language is the barrier. I still know many people in the villages, they have a whatever the special button, or my son I press this, the speed buttons, right? And so on. But they don't know how to dial the words because the literacy is not there, forget about the digital literacy. So they're managing it as still part of the digital world, but not in a true sense. Many of them are because of language barrier. It's all in English. How do you expect the farmer in Tamil Nadu and farmer in UP to understand it in English? Right? Maybe Anuwadini like technology can be brought at that level. The content may be created by you in English, but it's available to the person in local language. So I think your question is very valid. Still, there's a lot of bridge or a lot of distance we have to cover. I think time will be, and as I said, I have faith on the exponential growth. So it will not be 100 years, it will be 2 years that distance will be covered.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. That is so enlightening that how digital technology has taken the growing exponential pace and how beautifully you explained this concept through the story of chess. Now I request our director to present memento to our chief guest, Professor Bharat Bhaskar, as a token of gratitude and appreciation. Thank you, sir. Now I request Ms. Govinda Rajula Sharwani, student of ABPM second year, to propose the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, and all present here. It is my privilege to propose vote of thanks on the occasion of today's leadership talk. I, Govinda Rajula Sharwani, on behalf of Indian Institute of Plantation Management and the entire fraternity of management here, extend very hearty gratitude to Professor Bharat Bhaskar sir for gracing this occasion with your presence and sharing us with your opinion today, and the insights that you gave on digital marketing and the disruption about the digital marketing and the growth of the digital in the power of two is very important. And I think we all had a very great learnings from you, sir. And I would like to thank our beloved director, Dr. Rakesh Mohan Joshi, sir, for taking the initiative to provide us with this wonderful opportunity to learn from such a remarkable personality. I would like to thank our respected faculty and staffs for being so supportive and helpful to us. Lastly, I would like to thank other students for making the session a grand success. Thank you all. I request all the students to assemble near the admin block for a photo session. Thank you.